changing lives.
Hello, and a very beautiful and wonderful Tuesday to you, wherever you hear my voice from. This is Love at Home on Hope Channel, Ghana. I am Efia Sewa Mansa. In the month of June, we've been discussing issues concerning disabilities or persons with disabilities. And today, we are going to continue our discussion. But let me remind you that normally, we have several perceptions about disability. And so today, we need to break it down. We need to understand what can be some of the causes. They are complaining about education, they are complaining about marriage, they are complaining about employment, and even the general society perceptions about persons with disability. Let's go for a quick break. When we come back, we will delve more into our discussion for today. Stay tuned. Remember, it is time, so call in everyone and join us on our discussions on 0559-680066 on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you, stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Hope Channel is my favorite Christian channel. The best thing about this is that you can have it everywhere you go. All you need to do is to download the Hope Channel app on your Play Store or Apple Store and get all the programs you want to watch.
Are you ready to witness the future of entrepreneurship?
I've been selling the bacteria for about 5 years now.
If I flush my toilet, this bacteria can help me to have the water go recycle and be reusable again.
Some of my products are here. There's Zaraka.
We collect waste plastics and recycle them using petroleum refining process into a product like petrol, diesel, and gas.
This is why I also have my.
We want to really ask and delve deeper.
So the platform is creating. How is he doing it?
Because we are pitching, and pitching indicates that there is competition.
Tune in every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 6 p.m. only on Hope Channel Ghana.
Thank you very much for not leaving the dial, and thank you so much for staying tuned, and you decided to call in your friends. You know that there's a saying that disability is not an inability. It is really the case. Today we want to discuss disability and employment, or persons with disability and employment. To help me do this discussion, on my far left, I have a very handsome man there. He's wearing kente, and he's looking so beautiful in it. Yes, he goes by the name Mr. Bismarck Posompra.
Sure.
I like the way you said sure. How are you, sir?
I'm well, madam.
Okay, and your day, how has it been?
The day has not been easy.
Easy, really? You are coming from where?
I'm coming from Domahinkro.
Oh, say hi to the people of Domahinkro.
Okay, so good evening to the people of my good people of Domahinkro. Especially my paramount chief. Osaji Fosiadio Dr. Nanaji Mbadu the second.
That's nice. Nana Wonkwaso. Thank you so much. My other special guest is Mr. Samuel Intieje. They call him Dr. Junior Dr. Ewu.
Sure.
How are you?
So I'm very well, and you?
Oh, very good, very good. How is the day so far?
By the grace of God, things have been smooth. It has been okay, just one or two things. So as well as we go on, we believe in God, so everything is fine. Yeah, good.
To God be the glory.
Yeah,
and to you out there, you are welcome. We are discussing disability and employment. You know, we've discussed issues concerning them this month. Let's continue our discussions. We need to learn. We need to learn and see what we can do as families, as societies, as nations, to help our people to integrate them so that they can also do well in our societies. Now, let me start from you, Bismarck. What are some general perceptions or misconceptions that you normally hear about persons with disabilities?
General conceptions?
Yes.
Okay. So the first one, okay, thanks very much for your question. The first general misconception about persons with disability is the fact that disability is contagious. Mostly people think, so you asked me a general one, so mostly people think when you are disabled, you can actually infect other people with the condition. And so many a time people try to shy themselves from us. So that's one of the general misconceptions of the society about persons with disabilities.
But it is not, right?
Sure, it's not.
Bismarck says it is not. I don't know whatever you have or you have as a perception. It is not. And we know it is not. Yeah. Now, what about you?
It's the general perceptions about persons with disabilities, because we are doing employment issues. Let me coin it in such a way. The perception is that when somebody fortunately creates a job, when somebody has a business, when somebody has an opportunity to employ somebody to work in institutions that she or she belongs to, the perception is that the disability has created the person is unable to do something, unable to perform any duty that you give it to the person. So the perception is that the best way they can do for you is to go to the room, let's fetch food for you, let's fetch water for you. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. Or the general perception is go to the market, go to the stations, beg for people for money, that if you can get it, you go and eat. But for work, you cannot do. For employment, you cannot. There's nothing that can come out of it, out of you. But that perception is wrong. That perception is not right. It is important, as we are studying today, we get everything in our minds and beliefs that no matter how it is, God has put some potentials in others for us to work together.
Well, Samuel, now, how do we correct this conception? Okay, Bismarck wants to talk. Okay,
so general, you asked of a general one. So in terms of employment, the general misconception about persons with disabilities is that persons with disabilities are incompetent. The mere fact that you have a disability is enough for people to justify that you are not able to do any other thing. So they see you, and right from the outset, they draw conclusion about you that there's actually nothing you can do in the world. And then the second part of it is that once you have a disability, people tend to think that your mental capacity is very low.
Oh.
In other words, you have low mental capacitation, or you can't think like the non-disabled think. So in this time and age, employment-related issues require that you have analytical skills. And so they see you with a disability and they think that you can't actually analyze to bring something good. Yeah. So that's one of the general misconceptions. And now to correct it, the first is to give the person an opportunity. You can't actually realize what is inside a person until you give the person an opportunity to prove himself or herself. So we should be given an opportunity so that we can actually showcase what is in us. And then secondly, too, there should be an awareness or public education.
Like we are doing now.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
So when the public is sensitized about the capabilities or the abilities of persons with disabilities, they tend to think otherwise. They now realize that, oh, okay, this person that you previously thought was incapable or was incapacitated can actually do something for himself or for the society.
Very true.
So apart from giving us the opportunities, they should also, apart from them giving us the opportunities, so they should give us the opportunity and they should let us prove ourselves that we can actually do something for ourselves.
So it's like a baton. Some continue.
Okay. A little thing I want to add is that before somebody can be able to work, provide the necessary opportunity, the things for the person.
You mean the necessary resources?
Yes, resources. First of all, if you are a parent, if you are a teacher, if you are somebody, influential person in the society, help that person to acquire the skills. Skills is most important when it comes in terms of work or employment issues. If the person doesn't have the skills, hardly to get opportunity to work. So first of all, assist the person in a way that you can to acquire that skills. Then get the opportunity for the person to showcase whatever you want to do. Remove all those barriers. Sometimes, if the resources that is needed is not given to the person, no matter how the person is, it cannot work.
Very true.
So provide opportunities and give the resources to the persons, and we are able to work diligently as best as you are expecting us to do so.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure somebody is asking, Efia, how are you sure these people are PWDs? Are you one, Bismarck? Are you a PWD?
I'm one. Person with disability, blind to be precise.
Okay, so were you born with it?
Not at all.
Ah.
Actually, I acquired this disability in my second year at the university.
Which university? Yes, I'm sure.
Okay, so I was attending University of Health and Allied Sciences, popularly called UHAS.
Yeah, UHAS.
In the Volta region. I was actually part of the third batch when the school was established.
Okay.
And so it caught me midway in my program, and I actually had to defer and come home thinking something
could be done,
would come out of it, but it actually deteriorated with time.
Do you know the cause?
Yeah.
Okay.
My condition was caused by glaucoma.
Okay.
It was caused by glaucoma, but it didn't happen suddenly. It didn't happen suddenly. It took a gradual process. So I've gone through all the processes of this visual impairment. It started something small, and initially it was not diagnosed properly. And so before I realized, it has gotten to an advanced stage beyond any medical intervention.
Wow. Sorry for that. Now, what about you?
Yes, I encounter my situations when I was, in fact, I was born as a partial blind.
Okay.
And partially sighted person. So I encounter my situation right from school. Colleagues friends were saying all sort of things just to, if you see you differently from them, you can imagine how they are going to react to you.
Yeah.
In actual fact, I have not studied on a blackboard before. If I want to write something from the board, I just have to get close to the board, study, read a whole paragraph, come back, sit down, write, and go back again. So sometimes you block the views of others and say all those sort of things to you.
Really?
Yes, but unfortunately, my teachers could not help me because I don't know whether they were aware or not aware. So I passed through the system, the normal system, to complete.
The normal system, educational system.
So I completed the GHS in 2009 before I realized, no, the situation was going bad, so I have to get back, do something. And fortunately for me, 2011, I was reported to a Krupon School for the Blind for my rehabilitation. And after that, I'll move on to
So you have to do rehabilitation for some years to get yourself acquainted to the system before they can assess you and put you onto their normal stream. Because last week your colleagues described that to us. Now, Bismarck, you were in UHAS, so you had to leave after some time when you realized that the situation was not helping. So you left to where to start? Then you had to start all over, right?
Okay, so I was reading BSc nursing, what people normally call degree in nursing. So in my first semester of my second year, the condition got worse. So I deferred my program, and after some time of realization that the condition was not going to improve, I started rehabilitation in terms of learning assistive technology. So I went to the Accra Rehabilitation Center or the Society for the Blind to learn this computer. So I stayed there for 3 months and left, and later came back in 2018 and continued to the advanced level. So afterwards, I bought forms and got admitted to the University of education.
So hold on. After this computer advancements and all that, you couldn't find a job with it. And so you had to, or your intention was to go into education.
So this computer, this thing is not intended for you to be employed. Okay. It's actually to help you or to rehabilitate you, so that you can do the things you were doing previously with your eyes.
All right.
So it wasn't meant for employment, but just to get me adapted to the system. So afterwards, I went to University of Education, Winneba, where I completed in 2022.
Okay, so in 2022, we are in 2024.
Yes.
Are you working now?
Not at all.
Sammy, what about you?
Yes, I'm also not working. I completed 2021.
Oh, so you are his senior?
Yes, boss.
Boss. Yeah, I understand. So what has been the case? Is it that you are now applying to the government institute, the schools or the private schools? What is it? Why?
In actual fact, we do apply. All the years that come by, we do apply. But unfortunately, what we are facing is that the states or government or there's no policy focusing directly on persons with disability.
Okay.
What you do, you all complete school, come back, battle the work for yourself. If you're fortunate to go through, fortunately for you. If you're not, then you stay in the house and look for another opportunities that may come in your head. So we have been waiting. Letters have been going out, private schools, other opportunities that may come. I myself have even tried to go outside the education sector and go to some other areas. I got the opportunity to talk to 1 or 2 persons who were also running their personal businesses to see if I can also get job there. But unfortunately, it couldn't work just as I was expecting. So it's just that we have tried, we do all those things, but unfortunately, the focus is really not so. Because I don't know, those who attended the training colleges are a little bit privileged, got the chance to get employment. But those of us who passed through the university systems caught up away, then we are not getting the opportunity. We have to go and battle. If you are fortunate to get the protocol for yourself, fine. If you are not, then you have to battle and wait for another year to come.
Now, Sameh, have you tried, I don't know, do you think it's because of your, because you're a person with disability, I mean, in terms of your sight?
Yes.
That is why?
To some extent, I believe so. Because the issue is that they think that, especially the private school owners think that they have received school fees from their kids, their students, so they are expecting them to deliver to them. They are expecting them to train and help them to be educated. And they have to get the competent teachers to come and teach them. And because you cannot, how are you going to man the classroom? How are you going to control? How are you going to mark your papers? How are you going to do this? So the issue is that they lack the understanding what we can do.
Now, but Bismarck, would you be able to manage a classroom?
I did my service in a school.
And you were managing a class?
I taught ICT with a projector and a computer. And I actually scored my students, graded them, and gave them results. The only thing I couldn't do whilst I was doing my service was to mark scripts. That one is very visual in nature, for which reason you require someone with sight to assist you. But apart from that, scoring, putting it in grades, and other thing, I did myself. I prepared my lesson notes. I also wrote on the board because I've seen before. So I wrote on the board, projected my notes, prepared, managed the class. So I knew the voice of every single student. So whenever any one of them was making noise, I would go straight to the point and fish the person out. So it's not like I'm not trying. I've actually done it before.
This is interesting. Yeah. It is interesting. But now, Sameh, I'm sure maybe because of the condition, teachers or schools, school owners are probably thinking that you'll not be able to manage. Have you offered yourself the opportunity, something like an internship, where you are not taking any money from them, just to put you on trial to see whether or not you'll be able to manage a class, whether or not you'll be able to hold a class for them to assess you?
Yes, I've tried about 2 schools for internship, for just come and work. I just wanted to put myself at a point where I can demonstrate something for them to know that I'm able to do. We are able to do something that they think we cannot do. So I have offered myself for about 2 or 3 of them to try to see, but the results has always been the same thing, that you hear from us. You hear from us. So, well, there are sometimes you cannot push your way too much because they are handled their institutions, and they said they want to wait for some time before they can call you. There's nothing you can do, but we just pray that one time, the time will come that we'll be given opportunity to do that. It's just a matter of having confidence that we are able to do it. Sometimes one thing is that they think some of the certificates that have been issued to us, sometimes some of them thinks it's just given to you. Mm. You just have to put it. There was one time that I talked to a headmaster of an institution, a private school. He wanted to do everything to try put me to test whether I'm able to do it. Ask a lot of questions. At the end of the day, he was even though convinced, but yet there are 1 or 2 issues that put him off. Mm. That's, well, we know you are confident you can do, but you hear from us, and here I am.
For how many years now?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago.
Do you think the traditional perceptions or the traditional views that we carry is still holding this issue?
Yes, it's a very strong thing. It's very, very.
Like what? What are these traditional things that is really going a long way to affecting you?
The traditional thing is that, you see, how can we have something that there are sometimes people who say that, hey, the friend in to me, how much more me? Mm. So when you put that into you, it means that you are not supposed to do. Mm-hmm. So if you are able to, you that cannot do it, have been able to do, how much more me that have that eyes? And that traditional thing has been that how do you allow a teacher who cannot see to come and teach my child? How can you come and teach? You cannot do it. So the perception that why don't you go and talk to? Why don't you go and beg for money and those things? You know, I don't even know how to put it, but the issue is that traditional things that a blind cannot lead a blind man. How can you, what you say for the knowledge before you can come and teach my child or can come and teach me? So those things are still holding. It's very strong, to be honest with you. Some of the things, if you rank it, most of the possible things that have rendered us in these situations, those things, if I not by second, it could be third. Mm. Because it said that, no, a blind man cannot teach.
Now, Bismarck, you want to add on?
Okay, so I don't know if you've ever heard of this woman, Helen Keller. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So Helen Keller was both deaf and blind. So a condition that we put as deaf blind.
Yes.
But thank God Helen Keller wasn't born in Ghana. Otherwise, what the oh, but thank God Helen Keller wasn't born in Ghana. Other than that, in a can I hope you understand.
Yeah, I understand.
They would have killed her alive whilst a child.
They will tell you a cursed
but
baby.
Both deaf and blind, but Helen Keller became a great author.
Yeah.
I hope you've read about her. And you know one of her sayings. I said the most pathetic person in the world is the one with sight without vision.
Yeah.
The most pathetic person in the world is the one with sight without vision. Mm. But many times, these people or our society thinks that once you don't have sight, there's nothing you can do. And Samuel was trying to find an appropriate term for it. We call it ableism.
Ableism.
Yes, okay. Ableism.
All right.
So when we say ableism, we are talking about the fact that people see you and they think you are inferior to the one who is non-disabled. They see you, they've not spoken to you, they've not interacted with you, and right from the onset, they have this misconception that you are inferior to the non-disabled because you have that brokenness in your body. Mm. And in the olden days, what those people with disabilities were doing was that they were on the streets begging for alms. Mm. So they think the street is still our reserve, and so we cannot work, and for that fact, you should still go and join our other colleagues on the street to beg for money. So you actually go to a school or to a workplace trying to offer your service, and they say, no, this person or a yare for, they see one, no, they draw a conclusion or a yare for, they wouldn't even welcome you, or let alone to ask what you were there for. They conclude or a yare for, and yare for cannot work. And so the fact that in quote or a yare for the person cannot work. And so whatever competencies or abilities you have, they let it go waste.
Well, I was going to ask why institutions are adamant in then putting you in the public spaces. Because, for example, if you are able to go through the, for example, School for the Blind, maybe there should be a system where when you are done, there could be something for you to do. What is your take on that?
I think it's a good initiative that should come out, because when you complete school, automatically your job is there for you to do. Then you will not come and struggle. Then you will not come and find your way to do something. So most of the times, if somebody will even want to give you a job, it's out of sympathy. Oh, you don't have anything to do, let me give you some, this is more, come and stay here, come and just live here. I have a friend that is teaching, even in the government institutions. Up to now, for 2-3 years now, the person is not teaching, because the headmaster thought you cannot teach. So sit there, when it's time for Monday to Friday, come to work, even though because you have to sign. When it's time for a month, go and take your salary and come and sit down. That's what you do.
Really?
So those who will give you the opportunity.
Has the person demonstrated that he'll be able to do it?
The person have taught for about a term. And the teachers, the headmaster said, I'm not convinced of the way you are teaching, so you just sit down. And to be honest, 2-3 years now, the person is staying there not teaching. So they do this sometimes out of sympathy. And that's our problem. The problem is that, one, their ignorance of our abilities. Two, the commitment is not there. The commitment is not there.
Okay, so I see you came with a book.
Yes.
What is this?
Yeah.
What is it? Sorry, it's okay, go ahead.
So the book is just something to give an opportunity for the viewers to know whether. So I'm giving the book to you. I want you to read whatever in the book that you've seen.
Bismarck, I don't understand. I can't read anything.
I just want you to read something. I just want to hear what.
I am seeing lines and dot. Is this your braille?
So read it. I want you to
can't read Bismarck. Sammy, I can't read.
I just want you to just read something.
Sammy,
just
I'm sorry.
one line.
Viewers, please help me. They are asking me to read some dot. I don't know what it is. So I can't read.
So the information is that if you don't give us what we can do, we can use to work, we cannot work for you.
Say it again. Say it again.
So if you do not give us what we can use to work for you, we cannot work for you.
So you're talking about the right resources.
The right resources must be given. Sometimes the fear is that I cannot do it. I cannot do it because the right resources have not been given to me. And one thing is that they think, oh, if a sighted comes to teach, the person can walk from the house to the school. I cannot walk, so what can you do? Just provide me. So they think that they're going to give extra burden to the master.
Okay, so they are looking at cost here.
They are looking at cost there.
Cost, and looking at the energy. Probably they may have to get somebody to be taking you and bringing
so
you.
Those things are also some of the barriers that if a sighted can walk from maybe Medina to Osu here to come and work, you cannot walk. You will require extra money to be for transportation, and we are not ready to bear that cost. So for that matter, we can just have to let you go.
Bismarck, you said you came from where?
Domain.
You came by yourself, or somebody accompanied you? Are you sure?
I came by myself.
And you went through the normal VIP station?
VIP, I lighted at Circle, where I called Pastor Makado to come and assist me to the police. So I came by myself.
So you can see that they think, oh, that extra cost I'm not ready to bear it. So who is going to bear that extra cost? And when they go and tell you, you have more transportation to bear the day, and you have to sit down and think about it. So what are you going to do?
No, you are coming to work, but they will not give you transportation.
They will not give you transportation. They are telling you that, okay, if I give everybody 1,000 cedis for a month, you are going to require of extra money because of your condition. That person is going to be given 1,000 cedis, is going to walk to the work, but you are not going to walk. So definitely, if I give you 1,000 cedis, the 1,000 will not be enough for you because of your transportation, and you may find inconvenience. So I'm not ready to bear anything extra. So if you are ready to accept that 1,000 cedis I'm giving to you, fine. If you are not, then you have to go away for me to go and look for another person who is able to accept that amount of money.
Okay, so
yes.
Okay, so adding to the cost, you see, disability is an expensive condition. I have to let our viewers understand. Disability is very expensive. You know, for us to be able to use our computers, we require what we call a screen reader or a screen reading software. And two most popular of these screen readers are JAWS, Job Access with Speech, and the other one is NVDA. Do you know the cost of JAWS?
No.
$1,500. Converted to Ghanaian cedis, 25 million old currency.
My goodness, say it again.
JAWS, that's the screen reader alone. I've not even talked about the computer itself. The screen reader that will aid us to use the computer costs 25,000 Ghana cedis. And so there's a policy that when the private enterprise or company employs you, the enterprise is supposed to provide you with those materials. So all things being equal, so while you've come to a company or an enterprise, you are not disabled. I've also come the same qualification, but I require that to provide that device so that I can work equally as my other colleagues.
And I don't have that kind of
So the person doesn't have that kind of money to purchase those materials.
Yes.
So all things being equal between myself and your good self, which among of us is the person going to pick at the end of the day?
Of course.
You get it?
Of course.
So the private sector is not ready to bear any other extra cost. But then mind you, if they employ you and they fail to provide you those materials, and for that reason you are dismissed, the law requires that they are sanctioned. So the private enterprise is not ready to do that.
This is becoming more interesting. Let's go for a quick break. Please remember to send in your questions, suggestions, recommendations to 0559680066. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned. Thank you.
Hello guys, I welcome you all to Gospel 101 TV show. My name is Selassie Evelyn and I'm thrilled to be your guide on this uplifting journey into the heart of gospel music and inspiration. What you made ye yet de ekuko down. Get ready for a television show that will challenge, uplift, and remind you of the incredible power of God. Yeshawo Bose, yet the life-changing stories.
We are not going to marry when we go to heaven. It is very true. But if we are not careful, our bonnet will cry.
Good music videos. So tell a friend to tell another friend, say, Gospel 101 Jumedieno has come. It is not just a show, it is going to be an experience.
Gospel 101, showing this and every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Hope TV.
Hello and welcome to Hope Channel. And of course, to your favorite program, Watch These Signs.
As long as you are not in that boundary, he will do all kinds of things to protect you so that you continue to move. There are times some things should have happened which should have crushed you to death. But because of the power of God, to give you extra more time so that you can consider the issues of eternity. From plug things
on the farm.
Verse 23.
Yes, and that was when the Pharisees came, then he made this statement. And that is the same response people give today. that the Sabbath law says, thou shalt not do this, thou shalt not do this, don't touch this, don't go to market, don't. And so people use this text to tell you that even Jesus.
Hello, thank you so much for not leaving us. I am sure you are watching this with your families wherever you are. This is Love at Home, and we are discussing disability and employment, or persons with disability and employment. We've talked at length concerning education, and I have two beautiful or handsome men here. Yes, so let's continue our discussion. You were saying something, Bismarck, but I would want to know, what is government doing about this whole thing? Is there any policy, for example, that says that if a private institution or an institution is able to employ a person with disability, there's a tax benefit or tax incentive or achievement the person stands to get?
Okay, so when it comes to the side of the government, there's little the government is doing to support the employment of persons with disabilities. And let me issue a disclaimer or a caveat here.
Okay.
When I mention government, I'm not referring to Nana Addo NPP government, neither am I referring to John Mahama NDC government.
You're talking about the structures.
I'm talking about the structures or the government of Ghana. Because this issue has been there for some time and has been passed on from one government to the other until we've reached this far. And so there's really a policy that we call the Persons with Disability Act, Act 715 of 2006. No, 2006. That, and when you look at the act, it's really very beautiful, because there's one policy that stipulates that when a company, especially a private enterprise, employs someone with a disability, there should be a tax waiver.
Really?
There should be a tax waiver for any private enterprise who employs a person with a disability. But so, do you know the sad issue?
No, tell me.
After 2006 that this act was passed, the MPs just put it under their carpets and went to their homes to sleep.
You mean it is not a bill yet?
The only thing that has been implemented is the establishment of the Council for Persons with Disabilities. The only thing that has been put into implementation is the establishment of the Council for Persons with Disabilities. From the sections 1 to the last one, there's no single one that is into effective use. You see, other than that, we wouldn't have been here discussing this point. Because there's also one policy that if a person's name appears on a job search for 2 years, the social welfare, the Ministry of Education, then the Ministry of Employment should take the person out of the list and look for a job for that person.
If the person is a PWD?
Yes. After 2 years of searching for employment in vain, the social welfare should pick that person and either train him or get a loan for the person to start a business. Do you see this thing in place? So they just passed the act and afterwards put it under their carpets and went to sleep. So there's really a policy, but the truth of the matter is that it's not working.
Yes, Sammy, you want to add?
So, in spite of all this, I think it's also important to also say that even though there are challenges, even though there are difficulties, the opportunity is there for you. Just put the law to test to see how best it's going to work. Even though you may face some hitches somewhere, but I want to say if you have an enterprise on your own and you have the capacity to employ us, just get the confidence and put the law at work, and let's see how it's going to work. It's going to help you.
Yeah.
It's going to, even if nothing at all, it's going to give you a good name.
Yeah.
Just for somebody, in spite of all things that people knows about us, you have gone further ahead to create an opportunity for somebody to survive out of your kindness. and it's going to give you a good name. If just that one alone, I tell you, God will be pardon you to get heaven. So
will pardon you to get heaven.
Yeah, so it's important. I just want to encourage somebody just to get on and fear not of the challenges that may come. It's important to put your minds there again.
Yeah, I understand. I agree with you. Now let's look at are there some specific areas that PWDs will need support from, or from society, from families? No, let's start from families first before we can go to society.
So let me start from families. Families, the perception that we are not able to work, we are not able to do anything. We are pleading with you. You should put it a stop to that. Believes in God, even if nothing at all. God is able to use everybody to do something. So I want you to put that into off and encourage any child of yours, encourage anybody on the street, anybody you know, in a family, in a church, anywhere you are. Encourage the persons and offer a help, offer a support, offer anything that you could to help us to move forward. Perhaps you can find a way of creating an opportunity for a person also to go to school, to also get an opportunity to do something very nice. Even in terms of employment, you can also offer the opportunity to say, okay, let me help you. Go and trade, go and learn this trade, go and do this. It's going to help somebody to survive. It's going to help somebody to improve in their life. So I just want to say that because it is very important for us to also to put that in across for many of us too.
And we also need to, the society at large needs to change its attitudes towards persons with disability. Let me give you another quote by Helen Keller. She mentioned that the chief handicap, and Helen Keller was the, as I earlier stated, the chief handicap of the blind is not blindness, but the attitude of seeing people towards them. Should I take it again?
Yes, take it again.
The chief handicap of the blind is not blindness, but the attitude of seeing people towards them. By extension,
it's attitudinal problem.
Handicap of persons with disability is not disability, but the attitude of the non-disabled towards them. So if the society changes its perception towards us, we'll be able to really work. You don't see us and right from the onset judge us. So they should change the attitude that and the lack of understanding that they have towards us. They should just put it aside and test us so that they will realize that at least there's something good in us. And I'm still on the government, you see. There's one thing, that there should be a quota for persons with disability whenever there's recruitment. You see, we struggle with our non-disabled colleagues. Let me give you this example so you appreciate the challenges we go through. So you appreciate the challenges we go through whilst at the university. Now, to go through a university, a Ghanaian university, as a person living with a disability, you either term it small hell or keep quiet and suffer. I mentioned two terms. Either you call it small hell or keep quiet and suffer. Imagine this situation. A physically challenged person or someone in a wheelchair whose lectures have been scheduled on upstairs.
There is no lift.
The person gets to the steps and has to be carried by strong men.
Including the wheelchair.
I don't know whether something they left there. It's not a story.
We have experience.
And that person, I know one man who is an Adventist, was my junior at the university. He is currently on national service. When he got to the stairs, he needs to be carried by strong men to the lecture room. And you say, this person completes the university and you tell him he's incompetent. Now, so back to the government. Whenever there's recruitment, they should really allocate a portion for us. We will not ask for much. So just let them give us just 10%. So every recruitment, whether civil service, Ghana education, whatever recruitment, they should allocate a portion so that you didn't struggle. You see, in some of the forms, they will tell you to disclose a disability, whether you have a disability, so they'll give you that small consideration. But these days, you don't see that. So it means there's what Kabila would say, competitive disadvantage. So you compete with them on equal basis.
Boot to boot.
Boot to boot.
So to just add closely, so I just want to say that churches, religious bodies also have a responsibility to play. in our education sector in search of a job or employment. They have something to do. And for instance, I wouldn't go far to my church as I know that there's something that they could do. We are looking for skills to work. That's the first steps of getting job. So we are pleading that if there's any chance they can give for us also to acquire the knowledge that we are seeking for, there's an opportunity. And it will be a good thing. And also seeking for employment, there are a lot of private schools the Adventist is having. And it is important, it can just draft a policy that, okay, out of the total population of employing people to our private schools, okay, we are giving just 1% to persons with disability. If not the total and also permanent employment, just giving you 2 years, come and train yourself, come and do something, earn something, and move on your life. This one alone can help us, can sustain some of us to get away from the pressure before we can go through. So it's something important.
This is pathetic, but I think advice well noted and taken.
Okay.
Now, let's look at a Ghanaian setting. Have you seen a person with disability who has risen to the top in terms of career or on the employment ladder?
Yeah, to be honest, I have vision. I have the wish that if you're talking about 10 billionaires or 10 millionaires in Ghana here, you should mention at least one person with disability should feature. But when you count, you may not see. But there are many others who are also climbing up gradually. There are a lecturer. There's a lecturer that is at UCC who is teaching law, and there's one woman also. Also at the
one who has been called to the bar.
Yeah, Ministry of I think Justice and Attorney General, also doing something there. I think Madam, is it Vidal or?
Okay, so let me help you. So for a person with disabilities who have climbed the employment ladder, there's numerous examples. So first of all, I will mention Dr. Henry Seydou Dana, who is a lawyer, and then the first blind lawyer to be called to the Ghana Bar Association. And he's also the former Minister for Chieftaincy during the time of former President Mahama. And we also have we also have Ivor Kwabena Greenstreet. Greenstreet is also a lawyer and a politician. We also have Keritus Tete. He was the one my Pastor Junior was referring to. He's a lecturer and a lawyer at UCC. And in my hometown, Domain, there's one prominent man, we call him
Please
Mr.
mention
P.
his name.
Mr. P.K. Amwako. So he has established a private school for more than 20 years.
Really?
Seriously. P.K. Amwako has established a private school and has trained many people for more than 20 years.
He's a visually impaired person?
Totally blind. Not visually impaired, he's blind. We should talk about blindness, he's blind.
So,
and there's Madam Evelyn Appiah. He's also a principal attorney at the Attorney General's Department. And we have one lecturer at, I think 2 lecturers at Legon who are also persons with disabilities, and we have Madam Rebecca Nunu. She's physically challenged. So we have so many examples. And our own, you know, our man whose wife just got delivery. Isaac Mafu. He works at Goyle. And you remember Mawuli?
As an HR.
Mawuli Social Welfare. Prosper was also here. Prosper Leno. For Ghana Education Service, that I wouldn't say there are many. There are plenty in the Ghana Education Service. So there's a lot. For international level, I hope you've heard of, you know, this man who invented the electric lamp, now into an electric bulb, Thomas Edison. You know, Thomas Edison was deaf. Thomas Edison was hard of hearing. But again, thank God he wasn't born in Ghana. Other than that, that talent would have died with him.
Bismarck.
If Thomas Edison was born in Ghana, he would have died with that talent. By now, the world would still be living in total darkness. Sister Fia, there are so many talents going waste in Ghana. And I think our politicians and our leaders must appreciate and come to bear that there are certain things we can also do to contribute to national development. The fact that we are disabled doesn't mean we are disabled in our capacities.
Capacity or in your intellectual.
We have mental incapacitation. There's something we can do, and we can do very well.
Well, let me take this message. It says, good evening, Hope TV. May God bless you for impactful programs every Tuesday. I had one visually impaired madam in SHS, and she could teach better than some of those with their sight. So these people should be given equal opportunities as those without disability. Thank you so much. You didn't bring your name, but thank you so much for the message. And there's another message which says that it is very disheartening to see a person living with disability struggling to get employed. Both the public and private sectors should prioritize this. Message from Vision at Wasa Ekropong. Greetings to Bismarck. So Bismarck,
Vision,
somebody says hi.
Vision is my son.
Oh, that's nice.
My brother's son.
Okay. And then there is another message from somebody says, why can't you try starting a business of your own instead of waiting for employment? There are opportunities for you from GEA to start a business.
So
have you looked at that?
Yes, let me come in here.
Okay.
I have gone through the GEA training and has passed through the system successfully, just waiting for maybe if by the grace of God
you'll be given a grant or not.
They'll be given a grant or not. So I've got passed through. I have a business I do myself. I do detergent and soap making. As of now, I have many of them in the house that I distribute outside. Even though sometimes it's not difficult to send it out, but we're developing the confidence how to get it outside. So it's not like we are still waiting. We are doing something, even though waiting for what God will give
you, based on what you have studied.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Bismarck.
So instead they say we should do something. So very soon I'll be a great Python, and I will start swallowing you guys.
Oh, Bismarck. Oh, please, we are scared of pythons.
So I'm studying Python with Anaconda. You know Python programming language.
Okay.
So Python is a programming language and it's used to develop applications.
Oh, okay. You mean that? Oh, you scared me.
So very soon I'll become a great Python. I'll start swallowing the cobras. Nipa bin me a cobra. So I'll start swallowing those cobras.
To God be the glory. We pray for
that.
But
then, okay, so there are some visual impaired who are actually into this software development. If there are companies outside there who can really give us some sort of training, we appreciate that.
Okay. I think they are hearing you, so say it well.
I said, and I quote.
You quote yourself.
I quote myself. Self-acknowledgement. So there are many visually impaired who are into this programming and into coding. But we are looking for opportunities from private enterprises and companies to get this training. And there's this training from GIFEC. GIFEC goes about training some of those guys. We would appreciate if they intensify it so that at the end of the day, it wouldn't be something like 2 weeks or 1 month. We really be able to create a business out of it. Look, when I was growing up, I tried to become a medical doctor, but now, if you should ask me, if God should give me my sight back, I wouldn't go back into medicine.
Listen again.
I'll go into programming because that's a big business.
That's nice.
If nothing at all, I can create viruses to destroy your laptops.
Oh, you. Okay, so we have just a few minutes just to wind up. I want you to, Bismarck, address the issue of parents. Some parents are having children with disabilities and they are hiding them. Some are saying they are taboos, they are cursed. Last week I read an article where a woman gave birth with a baby with no limbs, and he said they should kill the baby because it's a cursed baby. What do you have to say?
Okay, so they should turn their eyes to Jesus. You know that testing?
Yes.
Okay, so they should turn their eyes onto evangelist Nicholas James Voight. You know him?
Yeah.
He has no eye, he has no limbs, let me put it generally. No hands, no legs. But the kind of work this man is doing and how powerfully God has used this man to evangelize. Just mention one pastor in Ghana who is able to do what Nick Voight is doing. And so if peradventure you give birth to someone with a disability, the person is not a curse, neither is he an abomination. See, we are persons with disabilities, but we've been able to climb the education ladder. You've mentioned other persons who have gone through same, and so don't hide them. Bring them out. They have potentials in here. They have their potentials in their mind, and so there's very great thing they can do. For all you know, they might even be the one God will use to actually bless the family. So they shouldn't hide their kids with disabilities. They should take them through the education system and get them trained so that their inherent abilities would be brought forth.
Now, you said you have a message for Ghanaians. Give it to me.
I have a message for Ghanaians. To fellow Ghanaians. Now, you've gone through all these challenges. So there's a proverb in Akan that, is it kwaku anantachune, ubu mo mami wu, wa mu mo papa wu, uku skwi biya amane, wa unku biya amane. So what do they want us to do? Because always they talk about disabled empowerment, and now we've empowered ourselves and we are ready for the job market. They should give us an opportunity. The government should create more opportunities. The government should what we need from the government is that it should implement the Persons with Disability Act. That will really solve all our problems, because what we need as persons to live and to thrive in such economic hardship is embedded in the Persons with Disability Act. So they should put the law into enforcement so that our problems will be closed. They should implement it. They should give us allocation when it comes to recruitment. And there are other people who have not gone far into the education system. They should give them vocational training. I mean, some have completed just up to the JHS or to the SHS level. They should give them vocational training. We don't like this idea where at the end of every quarter they give us some peanuts. What do you want? They buy sachet water, they buy cold box. How long can this thing last? They should give us something that can really get us employment so it can last very long. They should give our people vocational training. They should give us opportunity. They should employ us.
Well noted. Yes, Samuel.
Yeah, so one last thing I would say is that there's an opportunity for you to create for us. If in case you have enterprise, you have business, you have companies for yourself, I want to use this opportunity to plead with you. Just believe in us, just God himself believes in us, and give us this opportunity. I have always said that it will never be difficult for persons with visual impairment to do customer service. It will not be difficult. Sales management, sales representatives, it will not be difficult. These HRs, these are not difficult things. We can do it. Just pass through us the in-service training and we are good to go. So I'm pleading with you. If in case you have a job, I want to put to you that there's an opportunity God wants to bless you. And perhaps he wants to use us to bless you. This is an opportunity. You just give us 1 or 2 years. Let's come and do. You marvel at you, rather praise God for giving us such opportunity. And I want to plead with government and any other persons that if any opportunity comes, don't look upon us. The opportunity, the potential lives in us. And as long as you open the gate, you just be like a gate man of heaven. And God will surely bless you for doing that. So that's what I can say for now.
Well, they've said it all. And I want to say thank you so much. There is a quote I read somewhere, and the quote said that everybody is born genius. Yeah. The difference is the right resources that we give. Yeah. For example, if you tell a fish to climb a tree, do you think the fish will be able to do? Certainly not, because its adaptability or adaptation is in the water. Let's give ourselves the needed resources to help the people, persons with disabilities, so that they can also mingle in society. They can also fend for themselves so that they do not become burdens to you, parents, to you, society members, and the nation at large. Same time next week, we will come into your homes again. This is Love at Home. I am Efia Sewa. Good night. Bye-bye.